Oh, that's super interesting. Okay, so we talk about that a lot. Talk about the language. In fact, this is an area where I think actually a lot of times pro-life people get kind of annoyed with me. Not kind of this is just true. Like I will get emails from people disagreeing or all YouTube comments or whatever from pro-lifers not liking something I've done. And I think probably if I have to like put them all in categories, and the top 5 easily would have to do with language. Probably the top 2 would have to do with the language that I use, labels that I use. Why don't you say pro-choice? No, why do you say pro-choice instead of pro-abortion or pro-abort or, anti-life or something like that? And I just think that's super unhelpful. I don't think that most people who identify as pro-choice would feel like they're being accurately labeled if they were called pro-abortion, because they typically are not for abortion. They're for the choice to have an abortion. No label is perfect. There are issues with every label. There are issues with the label pro-choice and issues with the label pro-life. There are, pro-lifers don't want to be called anti-choice. That feels very, leading in a negative way. And I just kind of want to like err on the side of using extra neutral labels so that we can be talking about the real issues, the real things that we disagree on, like philosophically speaking, and not get caught up on the language. So it makes sense to me that this group of people would need some time to kind of figure out like how do we talk to each other when, if one group, let's say, is always wanting to use the term baby murder instead of abortion, for example. Like, it's going to make it hard to have the conversation. You understand, if you're in the other side's shoes, and if the other side is always wanting to, call you anti-choice fanatics instead of pro-life advocates. Like, it's just going to it adds a lot of tension and just like constant reminders of the things that we disagree on or how far apart we are in certain ways. No, focus on the commonalities that you have, and then you can more easily talk about the areas where you disagree, which you should do. I'm not trying to get people to only talk about the common ground they have. It's important. It's, arguably a necessary condition to having a really good dialogue, but you're going to need to talk about the things that you disagree on too.